Hello everybody, welcome back to TTL. A new season, season number 9 starts today. My name is Kieran McGinley and this is round number 1 of a new season. We head to Australia and Albert Park in Melbourne. There's no driver standings or constructor standings, so let's go straight in then with the driver list for season number 9. At Mercedes, we have the Gort and Mays teaming up once again this season. At Red Bull, it is Spike and Plaster. Spike moving from Renault to go to Red Bull. Weed Nation and Crazy Legs. Weed Nation moving from Williams from last season and Crazy Legs returning for season number 9. Lambo staying at Force India there. Poe moving to Force India as well to join him at the pink team. Blizard, the season champion of last season, stays at Williams. Z3 there will be joining him in that car, and they'll be hoping to make it back-to-back wins for Williams. Siege and Frank Dank. Frank Dank making his return this season. They're both in the McLaren. Raikkonen and Pazels. Raikkonen here hoping to get a push on and get up the table for this season. He'll be partnering with Pazels. Darren Sinclair and Squeezy. Darren Sinclair, the season 8 runner-up, will be hoping he has fresh new luck at his new Haas team. Steph and Alan Kay. Alan Kay finally getting his wish and going to the Renault team. He'll be partnering Steph for the season. And then it's the German Saubers of Trohr and Light E. Let's talk about the track. Albert Park then. 16 turns of this track, making it one of the fastest street circuits on the calendar. Yeah, it's 2 DRS zones, one on the start-finish straight, one in the straight between turns 2 and 3. Your best chances of overtaking, well, turn 3 is a great chance to overtake there, going into that right-hander and on the exit of turn 4. Turn 9 as well, and heading into turn 10 is a difficult place to overtake, but if you can nail the corner, it's a guarantee that you can dive it down the inside, as well as turn 15 as well. If you're brave enough, it can become a braking zone you can actually overtake on. Turn 13, well, you better have the move absolutely stuck there, because it's a very, very difficult place to overtake on as the racing line starts to fade away from you. Some of the track highlights though, turns 11 and 12. It's very difficult to get that set of corners right for the entire race. Expect a few offs here, maybe in the qualifying session. But as we round off the lap with Weed Nation, it's a fast track. It is one of a good track to start the season in. Maybe not so much overtaking as people would like, but it is certainly a test to get the drivers back onto their reactions and get them back into a new season. Speaking of a new season, let me stop talking. Let's head to qualifying. Well, here we are then. We have got a new season ahead of us, and I also have my telemetry upgrade that I get to show off now. Dry race, that's what we can say. It is dry for qualifying, it is dry for the race. A little bit of cloud coming over, but it should be dry all race. So with that said, we know the weather, we know what it's going to be like, we know the drivers know what the weather's going to be like, and it makes that racing just that bit more predictable than it has been in the past. Since we've been to Australia, since 1996, it's been the first race on every single racing calendar, apart from 2006 and in 2010, when in both of those seasons, the season started at Bahrain. But as we see, we've got new drivers in new cars. Blizard there is the first person out on track. It is Siege behind him in the McLaren. And of course, a new season means I'm going to be a bit confused about which car is which for the first couple of races. So you will have to excuse me for that one. But it's great to be back for a new season here at Australia, and it's always an interesting track. Australia always throws up these interesting results. So a couple of drivers to watch then. Well, I would say Z3 is definitely one of them. He proved he was a consistent driver throughout last season. Okay, it might have been the lower half of the points, but you know what? Consistency is key. To finish first you must finish. He has got that aggressive racing style on him, so be wary of him as we come towards the new season. Trohr is also a driver to watch, staying at Sauber for this season in that blue and white car. He gets those podiums when he least when you least expect them, had a race win last season as well. So he'll be hoping to carry that momentum forward into this new season. Darren Sinclair's also another driver to watch, runner-up in the season, in Season 8. He was very unlucky with a lot of DNFs to his name, but he'll be looking to look past that now, and as he heads onto a hot lap to get himself a race win here. Lambo staying at Force India, also a driver to watch, proving last season with 3 wins he's capable of the pace there, and he'll be hoping he can show that this season. If you're talking about consistent point scorers, well, Mays is the man. Last season it ended a 27-point running streak. 27 races, and every single one of them he scored a point. That ended at Brazil last season, so he is one to watch, a very consistent driver. Spike then, also another driver to watch. He is quick, that's for sure. And he has shown last season he's got the potential to become a championship contender. And it's a great sight to see Crazy back in the car, Season 7 champion. And he will be hoping here to put his name back on that silverware there. Driving in the number 12 car, he'll be hoping now, what can he do for the first lap? Siege then heading towards the line. He will set the first lap of the session, and it will be a 122.8. Crazy heading towards the line, and what can he do? As he did set a 129 there, but look at that, he's still pushing on. Blizard there, 121.8 there, as he looks to continue that charge. Lambo in P2 there, 122.2. And we've got yellow flags in Sector 3. Frank Dank there with Spike. I did see a car ahead. Is that Darren Sinclair? No, it's not. In fact, it was Squeezy, who sits a 122.9. Blaster, 124.8. Right on board with Frank Dank now. The start line is quite a way down. Alan Kay, 124.6. What can Frank Dank do? He goes 5th there with a 123.4. And I saw someone move up there, and I believe it was the Gort. Yes, it was 123.5 from the Gort. Crazy then heading on his way. He's already 8/10 up on what his last lap was. As he heads through into Sector 3, driving the Ferrari. Darren Sinclair also on a charge here. As Siege in 3rd place there. Z3 up into 5th, a 123.0. Let's see Darren Sinclair out there with Crazy as well. Crazy coming into the pits then. Oh, coming very close to the wall there, very close. But he's abandoned that lap, and he'll go for a new set of tyres instead. Raikkonen out there on some super soft tyres, and Darren Sinclair here heading around the final corner. And what can he do then? Coming around turn 16, heading towards the line again. It's quite a way down the straight here, but he'll come across the line. It's a 121.7 from Darren Sinclair. Great lap from him so far, a 10th ahead of Blizard. Raikkonen then 4 seconds down on his Delta apparently, and he'll come into the pits. There's a Renault there, I believe that is of Alan Kay coming into the pits. It is indeed. Alan's always talked about driving for Renault. It is his favourite team, and finally he gets to drive for them. So he's got his dream racing seat, that's for sure, and he'll be hoping that he can make it last and make it work for him. So with no cars really out on track at the moment, Blaster's out there. He's 0.004 of a second down on his time here, and we'll see if he's coming back to the pits or whether he's actually going to set another lap time. We shall see. But at the moment then, Darren Sinclair is top of the table, 121.7. As Blizard there is 2nd, Lambo 3rd, Siege 4th, Squeezy 5th, Z3 6th, Frank Dank in 7th on the super soft tyre, Gort is in 8th, Alan Kay 9th, and Blaster currently in P10. Blaster there, you can see, has run out of fuel, so his car has ghosted. There is a Haas there, and I believe, is that a Haas coming into the pits? Or no, it's Darren Sinclair, that's who it was. Darren Sinclair coming into the pits, that's why. You see, this is what I'm talking about. When drivers switch teams, I always could get confused for the first couple of races, so you will have to excuse me for that then. Steph, though, has stayed at the Renault, so that's good for me then. Steph heading towards the line to start his flying lap, and it could be his one and only lap of the session, given the amount of time he has out there. But he starts his lap then, and a little bit of a lock up coming into turn 1. You could just hear that there. And these are the best fitted tyres. Of course, Frank is the only one who set it his fastest lap on a super soft tyre. As Steph runs deep, going into turn 3 there, and that's what I was talking about in the pre-race there. It's just very easy there to lock up heading into turn 3, and you can just unsettle a car, and it all goes horribly wrong sometimes. But Steph is still pushing on because this lap's got to count. Heading towards turn 9 and turn 10 then. Turn 9 has got that inside curb there that can really throw the car off balance if you're not careful. And then you're coming towards turn 11 now. Now, how does Steph approach this? As he heads towards the left-hander there. Drops a gear to 7th. And oh, the back end's gone. Steph has lost it. Across the gravel he goes. And keeps it out of the wall. Well, that must have been a scary moment for Steph there, but that lap is ruined. He'll have to come back to the pits now. Draw then, starting a lap in the Sauber. And we'll see what he can do. Siege starting a lap as well. Squeezy out there in the Haas. And he's just trying to warm up his tyres, getting himself a bit of a gap out there. There's only 5 cars out on track, or 7 cars out on track if you count the 2 that are on their outlaps right now. Frank is coming around the final corner. Sorry, that's not the final corner. My apologies. But what I will say though is Frank is coming around now. He's coming around the final corner for definite, heading towards the line now. And he will be starting his lap. That's Alan Kay. He's out of the session. Oh, big crash there. And Poe has been handed a 5-place grid penalty by the game. As well, I'm not sure what happened there, but whatever happened, Poe is out. As he pulls to the side there, as he retired from the session as well. Well, he's still in this. I'm not entirely sure there. Maybe he's just taking a minute to ready his thoughts. But, well, Alan Kay out of the session. And Poe has retired from the session as his car reverses back out onto track and finds a place to retire. Not ideal, but there we go. So then Siege heading around the final corner, heading towards the line now. And what sort of lap time can he put? It's always daunting when the finish line is this far down. And it's a 1:21.8. He improves, but he is 0.02 of a second slower than Blizard. Squeezy now heading towards the line, coming around turn 14, up towards 15 and 16. And what can he do? Draw as well on a lap. He said a 1:23.8, but it doesn't count. Squeezy down the final straight. What lap time can he post? 0.6 faster, but again, it puts him within touching distance of Lambo. Frank there, 1:22.5, and puts himself up into 6th place. As we look at other drivers, where is Crazy? Crazy's off! Into the wall he goes! Crazy's out! Season 7 champion has hit the wall and hit it hard. And he is out of the Australian qualifying. Meanwhile then, Spike heading towards the line to start a new lap. And Traw is out. Traw must have... well, he's crashed into the wall there. Did he... the game's not liking where he's positioned the car there, so we'll quickly move away then. Paisl's out there. Mays is out there as well. If you're wondering why Weed Nation is still in the pits with a minute to go, well, he had a qualifying ban, so he was not allowed to set a qualifying time in this session. So he won't be starting too far down if it happens. Steph there was on an out lap apparently, but Paisl's here. Goes P10, 1:24.5 from Paisl's. As we see Steph there coming around. Maze is out there as well. We'll have a look to see where Darren Sinclair is, where Blizard is. Blizard 1:21.8 so far. He started another lap. Away he goes. Darren Sinclair coming around here. Squeezy is out of the session, and he retires from the session. He's done all he can. Lambo out there as well. Well, Darren Sinclair coming towards the line then. Can he get a faster time? Yes, he can. 1:21.62, and he puts himself further ahead. Meanwhile then, Blizard has got to has got to find something. Z3 heading towards the line. Can he improve? He can, but he can't put himself up the table as drivers start to see the checkered flag. Lambo is out there as well. Blizzard. Blizzard's hit the wall. Blizzard has hit the wall. And he will not be improving on his lap time. Then Lambo has a chance here to try and jump him for second. Z3 then has abandoned that lap. Maze is still out there on a flying lap. Pazels as well. We'll have a look and see where Spike is. He is coming through turn 5, I believe that is. As we'll have a look and see where Steph is as well. So a lot of drivers to watch. Lambo's one of them though. Lambo will be the first of the line, sporting his new crash helmet here, hitting the grass very slightly there. Can he keep the car under control, heading towards the line now? It's all about that exit off the final corner. He improves, but he can't go higher than 4th. 1:21.9 from Lambo. Spike then out there, and Steph puts himself up into P6. So then Spike, I believe, out there. Maze is out there as well. He's heading towards the line. Darren Sinclair coming towards the line once again. Backs off though. And, still top of the session. Maze pits in. Not happy with his lap. So Spike is the only one out on circuit. He's got to set a lap. And he's run out of fuel. Spike has run out of fuel. I don't believe it. On the start-finish straight. Spike here just wants to set a lap time, and he does. It's a 1:28.7. He ran out of fuel on the start-finish line, and he will be absolutely gutted about that. But, well, the pole position man at the end of the first round of qualifying is Darren Sinclair. So then, Darren Sinclair takes pole position for the first race of the season. Blizzard second, Siege in third, Lambo fourth, Squeezy fifth, Steph in sixth, Frank is in seventh, Z3 eighth, Raikkonen ninth, Maze in 10th, The Gort 11th, Pazels 12th, Blaster 13th, Alan K 14th, Spike in 15th, Crazy 16th, Weed Nation 17th, Traw in 18th, and Poe is in 19th place. Whew. Going through that list in 30 seconds takes some doing, but we'll have the race coming up after this edit. Well then, a dry race in store then for the very first race of the season. And, well, let's go through some of the statistics of the Australian Grand Prix. Not many overtakes happen here. I think there were only 3 overtakes in the 2018 Grand Prix, 1 more than the 2017 Grand Prix. But that doesn't matter. We've got 29 laps around this circuit. Fast-paced. Michael Schumacher has the most wins around here in the official Formula 1 seasons with 4 wins. We're covering around 154 kilometres in this race, and the fastest race lap time in 2018 was a 1:25.9 set by Daniel Ricciardo. And when we see these guys get that position, get as close to that lap time as possible, then here we go for the first formation lap of the season, and Darren Sinclair is going to lead them down. A very colourful field then heading into turn 1. And Darren Sinclair, of course, is a man to watch. He is, well, he is wanting to get some of that form back that he had in the early part of last season. And what better way to do it than getting yourself on pole? Blizzard in second. Watch out for him going into turn 3 on the very first lap. He might try a move there, the Williams man. Siege in third. Quick around this track. Be hoping to challenge for that lead. Lambo will be hoping for the same. Very good form from last season. He'll be hoping to carry that on. Good qualifying session from Squeezy. It puts him up into 5th place as he looks to try and get some positions there. Spike though in 15th place. Disaster of a qualifying, running out of fuel on his qualifying lap, but never rule Spike out. He is going to be one to watch for this race. Crazy as well. An ex-champion, 2 Ferraris, 16th and 17th. Not a great start for the Constructors campaign, but Crazy, never ever rule Crazy out. He is one of the top drivers in this league, and he'll be hoping to get himself back towards the front. Weed Nation, well, he is part of the reigning Constructors team of Williams, but, well, he's at Ferrari now, so he'll be hoping to try and help Crazy towards that title. Draw then starting in 18th place, and the field bunches up there And, well, coming around the final few corners, a slightest tap sends you back to the grid. It's very harsh, but there we go. As you can see then, the top 10 all starting on ultra soft tyres. Anyone outside the top 10, interestingly, is going to start on soft tyres. How will that play out as we head to the race then? The race is coming up after this edit. So here we go then. 5 red lights here in Australia. Round 1 of Season 9 is underway, and what are the starts like? Darren Sinclair instantly goes to cut off Blizard then as they head towards Turn 1. Look at the McLaren on that right-hand side of your screen. Darren Sinclair leads the field through. What are the starts like from behind then? Looks like everybody's got through clean, but here's Lambo trying to head towards Turn 3 then. Let's have a look and see what's happened. And Pesos has retired. Pesos is out of the race. What happened to him? As we look towards the back of the pack then, Pesos has hit the wall and out of the race then, just after Turn 2. And Poe's in the wall as well. Poe is out. Well, this has been a dramatic start already to this season. And Crazy there is already up into 11th place. He's side by side with the Gort now as they go round they go towards Turn 9. And Crazy now up into the point in just a matter of corners. What a start from Crazy here as he's run wide. That's Z3 into the wall. Z3 lost it coming out of Turn 9. He's in the wall now and he drops all the way down. Has to rejoin there in P17. Just front wing damage from him, but that's going to hurt him a lot. Darren Sinclair then leads the way from Blizard, and Frank here is trying to go round down the inside of Squeezy there. Sorry, Squeezy going down the inside of Frank there. A little bit aggressive from Squeezy there, but he's got the move done. And meanwhile, Crazy behind them has got up into 8th place. Steph trying to challenge him coming into Turn 9. Sorry, Turn 9. That's totally not the corner, as that is Crazy coming into the pits. Did he have front wing damage and made his way to up into 8th place? That is incredible driving. Well, he's into the pits now, then leads them through. Steph is in as well, as is Traw. Mays as well into the pits. It's been a dramatic first couple of laps here in Australia. Darren Sinclair, though, leads the way from Blizard, Siege, Lambo, Squeezy, Frank, Raikkonen, The Gort, Weed Nation and Spike, who rounds up the top 10. Heading now. Blizard, you can see him right in the mirrors of Darren Sinclair, wanting to try and get that win. First race win of the season is important, and it's when you get it. That's of course where I lost my train of thought. Let's avoid that then. Let's ride on board with Frank Dang instead, as he looks to try and chase down Squeezy for that position there on the ultra soft tyres. And let's have a look after that dramatic start at some of the biggest winners and losers. Well, the biggest winner out of that start was Weed Nation. He's up 8 positions there as he looks to try and get some points on the board. The biggest loser, from what I can see on that board, is Z3. He is down 9 positions. Well, what's happening with Squeezy here? He's going down quite a few positions. It looks like he has... Does he have front wing damage? I'm not too sure, but he's running around at the moment in 7th place, and he's losing that back end a lot there. And he might be prey for the Gort here, who's running on soft tyres, DRS enabled, and you can see there Crazy rejoining on ultra soft tyres, Traw, Mays joining on super soft tyres, and Steph on the soft tyres. All of them will probably have to stop again. Spike here trying to chase down Weed Nation for P9. Coming into Turn 3 as Spike locks up there, but that could be my connection to him. Siege here on the back of Blizard, looking for a way past. Not many opportunities you can use to, well, to actually overtake. Few and far between, but he's looking here, looking to try and find that way past. Heading now towards the next part of the track, the fast flowing 11 and 12. As we've seen here, we saw Steph lose it there in qualifying. Meanwhile, the Gort and Spike here trying to go side by side into 11 and 12. That's never going to happen. And the Gort there, is that the Gort or is that Spike? No, it's the Gort. Had to back out of the move there. In fact, that was Weed Nation. My total apologies there. Weed Nation getting past the Gort there, going into Turn 11. Fantastic move from Weed Nation. He's up into P8 now. And the Gort then has got to be careful now from Spike behind him. who'll be looking to try and take that position away as we head around the final corner, coming towards the DRS zone. And the Gort loses the back end. Now this is an opportunity for Spike to try and get away past him, coming down the straight as we head towards turn 1. Not a very easy place to do it into turn 1. Exit of turn 2 is crucial now as we head towards turn 3. Now turn 3 is the first real overtaking opportunity. Spike goes to the right hand side, but bit of a dummy move there, and he has to back out of that move. So Darren Sinclair leading the way from Blizzard and Siege. That's your podium so far, and Crazy picks up a 3-second time penalty. Spike here, right on the tail of the Gort, not letting him go anywhere at all as we head towards turn 9. As Blizzard picks up a 3-second time penalty. Now that time I think Spike actually did lock up there. That wasn't just on my screen, as well, he's lost a little bit of time on the Gort then, but he will be hoping here to find a way past. Runs slightly wide, picks up a little bit of grass on his tyres, and that's going to cost him a little bit of grip. Hopefully it would have worn out by the time he does that. The Gort then trying to attack heavily on Weed Nation here. Can he find that way past? No, he can't. Maybe a little bit too aggressive going into those sets of corners. But as you can see here, Spike is right on the Gort's tail here. And this is going to be a tasty battle. Oh, the Gort's lost it into the wall. And the Gort now has to do a full lap with half a front wing. That is a disaster for the Gort here. And he'll just be trying to get out of the way of Plaster. Plaster now up into the points there. And the Gort has to limp his way back to the pits. Well, you can see now Lambo's joined the fight here. Darren Sinclair leads, and these four are going to be battling away. And how many times are we going to see this season? Darren Sinclair, though, still leading the way as we head towards the first stop. You can guarantee that these guys are going to be one-stopping. But in the meantime, we've got Traw here, who's lost it completely. And I believe that is coming towards turn 13. Yes, it is. A very odd place to lose it there, but Traw is out of the race as the leaders pass through the picture. Well, Weed Nation here is coming onto the back of Squeezy. Now, I do think Squeezy has damage because on these ultra soft tyres, he's not getting the performance out of them. The yellow flags coming towards turn 13, green flags by the time they get to the corner, so Weed Nation could have a go there. And coming around turn 14 now, as you can see there, look how slow Squeezy is through turn 14 there, as I definitely think he's got a little bit of damage on him. Yes, he does, and he comes into the pits. So Weed Nation, that releases him, and he goes towards the start-finish line, goes up into 7th place now, and is the leading soft tyre runner. Meanwhile, Alan K is looking to try and get up to the points, and he does. And that's because of Squeezy and the Gort coming into the pits to put on a set of super soft tyres. Away they go. The Gort, they're having to change that front wing too. And he goes on his way onto the super soft tyres. Well then, Spike here, still trying to chase down Weed Nation. Weed Nation 5.7 behind Raikkonen, as it's not bad pace for those soft tyres at the moment. Up towards the front end of the grid, you can see there Lambo still trying to close the gap, still trying to pull his way through. And Maze here, don't be fooled by that new name, that is still Maze, as he heads towards turn 3. And he's found his way past the Gort who has just exited the pits. And again, they're keeping up with that Mercedes traditions, those two. They don't seem to be too far apart when they're on the same bit of track. Here comes Spike through turn 13, still putting pressure on Weed Nation at the moment. But here we are then, the top 4, Darren Sinclair, Blizzard, Siege and Lambo. They're all very close to each other and looking to put some pressure on each other. You can see their Siege falling away from Blizzard very slightly and falling into the clutches of Lambo there, coming into turn 3. You can see here the top 4 just going around at their own pace at the moment. And ready to see who can blink first, or who will blink first, as we head towards the stops here. Meanwhile, the Mercedes are having a good battle, aren't they? As I try and find the cursor to get down there, the Gort then moves ahead of Maze, moves himself up into P13. Here's Spike then. Again, we're riding with him. As I'm not sure if that's a lock-up. The way I can tell now is if Spike runs wide, he definitely locked up. Otherwise, it was just him braking. We head now down towards turn 9. And you can see there, goes up a gear quite early there. He's getting himself a little bit more torque out of the corner. That does get the risk of a little bit of the tyres spinning up, or his rear tyres causing oversteer. But if it works for him, then obviously, what do I know? We're now heading towards turn 13. And Spike here, looking for an opportunity, but not quite. And Siege looks like he's going to be the first one to blink then. Into the pits he goes, and will this be a move onto some soft tyres and then towards the end of the race? The McLaren crew are ready. The car number 99 of Siege exits the pits on soft tyres. Now, where will he rejoin? Weed Nation goes through. Siege is now into the pits. Siege comes in as what? Sorry. I'm losing my mind. Siege then rejoining the track in front of Plaster coming into turn 2. Always an awkward pit lane, and it leaves yourself open to be attacked going towards turn 3. And, well, looks like Siege is clear of Plaster. So Siege then rejoins 6.7 behind Spike there in clear air. Darren Sinclair 8/10 clear of Blizard at the moment. So what's the response? Do these guys pit in now, or do they wait that little bit longer, try and extend this stint now so they have fresher tyres towards the end of the race? It really is a case of strategy there. Lambo could have followed Siege in there, decided not to. So what will these guys do then? Blizard is quick. Darren Sinclair though holding the lead at the moment. We'll see now who comes in. Darren Sinclair comes in, as does Blizard, and so does Lambo. Lambo stays out. So the two race leaders come into the pits then. Lambo is released, and he'll take the lead of this race going on to lap number 9. Darren Sinclair in then. We can see how close Blizard is behind him. The Williams pit crew are ready. So are the Haas pit crew. On go those medium tyres. Make sure the tyres are on, guys. Coming towards the pit lane, Darren Sinclair will rejoin ahead of Blizard, but where will they both rejoin? Where is Siege? Siege now coming down that pit straight. Let's have a look at Darren Sinclair. You can see Siege in the picture there, and Darren Sinclair and Blizard will come into turn 2 ahead, but the way the pit lane is, it's very awkward when you want to come out of the pit lane there. As Blizard there has DRS from when he got activated when they pitted in, so well, he's got the DRS there. Has he used it to good effect? Well, yes, look at that. Look how close those three are now. And the undercut has definitely worked, which is great news for Lambo then, as we now head towards turn 6 through 7, and then coming around the right-hander of turn 8. Still then Darren Sinclair trying to hold off Blizard as we head towards turn 9. A little bit of curb there. Maybe just picking out too much there, Darren Sinclair. We head towards turn 11. And now, what's the game here? What's the game plan for Blizard? Does he hold back for now, or does he attack? Coming through turn 12 on the exit there. And this could be Blizzard's chance if he gets that exit right. Heading towards turn 13. But he can't quite do it. Has to stay behind. Heading through 14 now, coming towards turn 15. Raikkonen is into the pits, but Lambo's still out there. This will be his 10th lap on those ultra soft tyres in this race, because he did qualify on those tyres. Then Blizard here, DRS is open, and this is his chance to try and get Darren Sinclair under a bit of pressure. Had a think going into turn 1, but couldn't quite make that move stick. And now he's coming towards turn 3 with DRS. This is the chance to make the move. Darren Sinclair goes defensive, tries to defend that inside line. Blizard trying to go around the outside. Blizard nearly running out of road there and has to back out of the move. Darren Sinclair stays ahead for now. Heading now down towards turn 6 now, through 7 and then 8 once again. Blizard here is looking for that way past. He can sniff that opportunity. And heading now into turn 9 through turn 10. And we can see now what these guys are made of. We can see here, this could be a future title contender battle. Meanwhile then, Frank Dank and Plaster trying to go side by side now, coming towards turns 11 and 12. Plaster here trying to hold off. And Frank knows he can't quite get the move done there. Meanwhile then, Lambo into the pits on lap number 10. So, on goes some soft tyres from Lambo. Away he goes. And Weed Nation then, on board with him. He will take the lead of this race. Lambo then heading towards the pit lane. There goes Spike. And where is Darren Sinclair? There he is. There's Blizard. And there's Siege. So they're all through. But Lambo here hasn't lost a lot of time to them, but he's got to start pushing if he wants to get that gap down now. Frank on the outside of Plaster and makes the move stick. I don't think Plaster put too much of a fight up there, but Frank is now up into 7th. Blizard here, still on the back of Darren Sinclair. And, well, we're on lap 11 now. If these guys are one-stopping, then Blizard now has to make his move out on track. The undercut from Siege hasn't really worked the way he wanted to. But, well, Lambo here is starting to fall away from the pack. Now he's not in that battle. He is starting to fall away very slightly, but of course he is on fresh tyres that need warming up. They need warming up to race temperature, so don't rule him out just yet. Heading towards turn 11 and 12. Well, Weed Nation here, leading the race. Is in 2nd, but the lead pack there of Darren Sinclair, Blizzard, Siege and Lambo. Well, Darren Sinclair is 1.6 behind Spike. That's how quick they are at the moment. And Weed Nation and Spike still need to stop then. As we head towards the start-finish line with Weed Nation, Spike is there as well in 2nd. Darren Sinclair is going to have to try and fend off Blizzard once again. Heading into turn 1, Blizzard doesn't try the move then. And Darren Sinclair gets a little bit of a kick out of the back end there. And Blizzard senses an opportunity here. Darren Sinclair again defends that inside line then. And Blizzard, can he go around the outside this time? He's sticking it in there. And they make contact, the two of them, heading now into turn 4. But Darren Sinclair holds on for dear life and holds on to P3. Well, Alan Kay here. Trying to make a move, oh sorry, Squeezy trying to make a move on Alan Kay. Okay, oh that's an ambitious move from Squeezy there. Alan Kay thought he was going to make the move there and went wide to compensate. And Squeezy there's got himself up into P10. Meanwhile then, Weed Nation still leads the way then. Spike in 2nd, Darren Sinclair 3rd, with Blizzard in 4th and Siege in 5th. Blizzard then looks like he's got a good run coming out of turn 12 there and coming into turn 13. Look at that. Look how close he is to Darren Sinclair now. We head now through turn 14 and coming towards 15 now. Is Blizzard going to try and move? Yes, he is up the inside. They make slight contact, the two of them. But who will have DRS? Blizzard will still have DRS. He goes wide, gets a bit of exit, but he's lost it. Lost the back end into Siege. He goes and loses that front wing all on that curb. And Blizzard here, where he tried to be a little bit aggressive on that undercut there, finds himself without a front wing and has to do an entire lap without it. Disaster for Blizzard then. We see Squeezy, Alan Kay, Steph, all in the bit. Sorry, just Alan Kay in the picture. My apologies. As Blizzard here still trying to use that DRS and still trying to push even without a front wing. That's not how he wanted his title defense to go down to start with. But the race isn't over just yet. So Weed Nation still leading the way. Spike in 2nd with Darren Sinclair 3rd. Siege moves up to 4th. Lambo moves up into 5th place. And they're now heading towards turn 11 then. And this lead pack now, they're heading through. How long will Weed Nation let those tyres last? Now, I'm thinking it's going to make them last to around about lap maybe 27. So there's a lot of running still to do. Maybe Weed might be a little bit cautious here and maybe go for a super soft stint. But it really is in the questioning. All we know is the weather. And it's staying dry for the rest of the race. As you can see, the clouds are forming over. So a little bit of track temperature will start to drop, which might favour those who move on to the ultra soft tyres in the later stint because they'll be in a better operating window than those soft tyres. Squeezy then trying to fight it out with Raikkonen as we head towards turn 16. Squeezy still on the inside. Blizard comes into the pits at last, and look at this now, Raikkonen and Squeezy trying to chase down Plaster here for P7. And Raikkonen tried to make the move up the inside, didn't work. Squeezy here, you can see, is still trying to have a go. And now they're heading towards turn 3. Let's have a look at the back from Plaster, and neither of them make the move just yet. Meanwhile then, still Weed Nation leads the race, and Spike there still locking up. And Darren Sinclair here has seen his opportunity to try and get past Spike then. Coming towards turn 11, sticking it around the outside, backs out of it though, but he's putting Spike under that pressure. And look at the exit now Darren Sinclair has coming out of turn 12. Spike leaves him enough room as they head towards turn 13. Has Darren Sinclair got the move done then? Down the inside of turn 14, and still he's down the inside heading towards turn 14 now. And Darren Sinclair does get the move done. He moves now up into second place, but Spike is still there. We've got yellow flags in sectors 1 and 2, and I think that's C3. But Darren Sinclair still moves up there. Oh, Spike losing the back end slightly. Siege has to take evasive action there. Moves to that inside. Lambo there sees an opportunity as well. And Spike now will drop to 5th place as he loses out to Lambo going into turn 1. Well, Weed Nation now under pressure from Darren Sinclair. And how well will he cope with this pressure then? Spike then still not giving up on this position. But with wearing tyres, he's going to find it more and more difficult to keep up with those front runners now. Meanwhile, Raikkonen on Plaster. Tried to move, but Plaster covered him off. And Raikkonen has to stay behind for now. So Weed Nation still leading. Darren Sinclair 2nd. Siege in 3rd. Lambo 4th. Darren Sinclair is still trying to put Weed under a little bit of pressure here. We head through turn 11 and then through turn 12. Now on that little bit of a straight that's not a straight. Darren Sinclair here looking to put Weed under a little bit of pressure. But Weed Nation's holding it on very well here. Coming into turn 15, Darren Sinclair trying to take different lines, trying to distract him. And we've got Siege there trying to make a move. He left his braking quite late there, and now finds himself under pressure from Lambo now. Lambo trying to stick it around the outside here. And, well, look at this. These two are fighting it out now, and the camera doesn't give us a good option. So we're going to see it from Siege's perspective. Now we've got the move, and Lambo has made the move on Siege. Lambo moves up into 3rd place there. Crucial for Lambo. But Siege isn't done just yet, still trying to find his way around the outside. Lambo heads into turn 3, maybe slightly too deep, but it's okay. He's held on to the position there, held the racing line, and Lambo holds on to P3. Well, you can see there up above, Darren Sinclair still putting that pressure on Weed Nation. Weed Nation must be frustrating Darren Sinclair right now as we head towards the next couple of corners. And Blizard there setting the fastest lap of the race on super soft tyres. Let's watch out for him towards the end of the race. He is currently in 13th place right now, so we'll have to watch out for him as we head towards the latter stages of this Grand Prix. Now, Crazy will probably have to stop again, but in the meantime, let's have a look at Darren Sinclair and Lambo here. Darren Sinclair now finds himself defending from Lambo as we're heading towards turn 14 now. Lambo putting that bit of pressure on Darren Sinclair. Lambo's come alive now with those fresher tyres because he was the last of that group to stop. Weed Nation still yet to stop as he carries on for another lap. We head towards the start-finish straight now then, and Weed Nation still leading this race as Spike comes into the pits to replace those tyres. Weed Nation stays out then and invites a little bit more pressure from Darren Sinclair. And Spike then going on to a set of super soft tyres. Meanwhile then, Darren Sinclair trying to go around the outside of Weed Nation. Has he got that move stuck then? Weed Nation trying to hold his line down the inside, but he can't quite do it. Now Lambo's trying to have a go down the inside of Weed Nation there as we head towards turn 5 there, but he can't get that way past. And Darren Sinclair's got that crucial space now between himself and Lambo. Well, Lambo here will be frustrated with that one. He had the opportunity to get past Weed Nation, but he couldn't quite find it. And Crazy Legs, what's happened to Crazy Legs? He's crashed out. He has crashed out of the race there. Crazy will not be finishing the first race of his return. So then Darren Sinclair leading the way as we head through that yellow flag sector where Crazy has crashed out. And that'll be a warning sign for Lambo there. He won't be able to try and make the move. Or will he? Coming into turn 13. No, he won't. But he's still looking for that opportunity. When will Weed Nation pit? I do wonder. The clouds will start to form over towards the end of the race. So when will he pit? He pits now. Weed Nation into the pits then. Responds to Spike there, who's on the super soft tyres. So I'm assuming then Weed Nation will probably do the same thing, go onto a set of super soft tyres. What does Ferrari have ready? I think they do have the super softs ready there. Yes, they do. And away he goes. And where will he rejoin then? Spike rejoined in 8th place there. There goes Frank. Squeezy is in. Where is Reikling? He's coming around the final corner now. Sorry, Spike coming around the final corner now. Having that DRS assistance there. Weed Nation coming towards the end of the pit lane. There is Spike. So Weed Nation will rejoin in front of Spike. But of course, Spike is going to have DRS here and a much better line going into coming towards turn 3 here. And Weed Nation is going to try and hold on to this position for as long as he can. If he can make it to turn 3, he's got a chance. But no, Spike gets the move done. He locks up coming into turn 3, runs very deep. But look at that, Spike gets the move done, moves up into 5th place. Well, with that said and done then, we've got Blizard here. Has spun it around. Now, what's happened to Blizard? That's a very odd place to lose it on your own. You might have got caught up with another car there as he slams the wall for good measure. It's not been a good day for Blizard at all. Well, the Gort here had that off with the front wing early on in the race. Finds himself in 9th place at the moment, chasing down Steph in the Renault. Well, Weed Nation here is starting to fall away from Spike. But a battle that's happening up ahead is Lambo and, sorry, Siege and Frank, is that? No, I've lost the plot completely. It's Lambo and Siege with, that is Williams behind. It's Z3. You see that the new drivers are still going to throw me off. That's Z3 being lapped. But there we go. Frank is in then. Ongo's a new front wing, and Ongo a set of ultra soft tyres. Away he goes then. Well then, what's going to happen here with Frank? Is he going to set some blistering lap times? 10 laps on the ultra softs, or sorry, 11 laps on the ultra softs is what it actually is doable. You'll get a very high rate of wear, but it is doable. So here we are then, Darren Sinclair, we're on board, or at least watching him anyway, as he leads the race. Lambo is in 2nd place, Siege 3rd, Spike in 4th, chased by Weed Nation in 5th, Raikkonen in the picture there in 6th, Alan Kay is 7th, Squeezy 8th, Frank is in 9th, Plaster 10th, Steph in 11th, the Gort in 12th, Blizard 13th as he changes his front wing there and goes on to a new set of ultra soft tyres. And Z3 there in the other Williams is currently in 15th place. Well, Darren Sinclair here has it all to do now. Try and defend from Lambo, who Lambo, of course, last year had 3. I say last year, last season he had 3 race wins to his name. So what can he do this season, I wonder? Meanwhile, further behind, we've got Squeezy and Alan Kay. Squeezy there trying to go around the outside of turn 13, now trying to go around the outside of turn 14 there, and makes the move stick. Squeezy then up into 7th place. Weed Nation starting to fall behind from Spike here, and he's put in a good shift today, that's for sure. And I reckon he'll be very happy with this performance. He just needs to get to the end now, and if he can catch Spike, that will do him the world of good. Frank here is chasing down Alan Kay for 8th place in this race. And where can Frank go then? He's on those ultra soft tyres, those ultra sticky, ultra soft tyres. Can he make the move stick then? Look, he's trying to go around the outside, going into turn 5. That's never going to work. Alan Kay gives him the room though, heading towards turn 6. Round the outside Frank goes, and he's made contact with Alan Kay there, but he's gotten the move done. Frank moves up into 8th place. heading towards turn 9. He's got the move done, and he can move on and try and chase down Squeezy, 4.8 ahead. Steph and Plaster looking like they're going to have a good battle here, as Steph here is only 4/10 behind. Plaster doesn't get a great exit coming out of turn 10. That's going to invite Steph to pile the pressure on now. What can he do? Plaster defends the inside going into turn 11, picks himself up a 3-second time penalty for good measure. But Steph here looking like he's got a good exit coming out of turn 12. Will he challenge into turn 13? No, he won't. He'll let Plaster have the line for now. Heading towards turn 14 now. Spike trying to go down the inside of turn 14, and he's got the move done. Makes it stick. Steph up into the points. And now the Gort here on ultra soft tyres is chasing down Plaster as well. Plaster could move down to 12th here in the space of a couple of laps. Alan Kay is in. Alan Kay goes on to a set of ultra softs, changes that front wing. Now, did he make contact there with Squeezy? Was that earlier on, and he's had to change his front wing now. Meanwhile then, the Gort goes down the inside of Plaster, and Plaster doesn't really have anything to defend with, so the Gort then moves up into 10th place. Darren Sinclair starts the 22nd lap, and well, that's a little bit unconventional there. Z3 getting ahead of Lambo there. Z3 of course on some super soft tyres, new super soft tyres may I add. And, oh sorry, that's Blizard. It is Blizard. Blizzard on ultra soft tyres is well, that is yeah, that is Blizzard. Well, he's certainly putting up a challenge now, and look how quick he is on those ultra soft tyres as he tries now to chase down Darren Sinclair. Well, the Gort here could have a chance to grab 9th place, 1.3 behind Steph on softer tyres now, the Gort. Can he get back up into some good points, good needed points for Mercedes? Wheat Nation here currently in 5th place, gap ahead of him 2.3, gap behind him 7 seconds. Running a little bit of a lonely race now. That's what it might be towards the end of the race, but anything can happen in league racing, and it normally does, that's for sure. Lambo here. Well, it's Blizzard trying to get past Darren Sinclair, bringing Lambo back into this fight for the lead here. Blizzard gets well out of the way there, tucks back in, and looks to try and have another go at Lambo coming into turn 1 now. Is that the case? Does he have a go? No, he doesn't. But, well, Darren Sinclair is now 1.2 ahead. He was over 2 seconds ahead. Is Blizzard here trying to have an impact in this race from 14th place? Well, you can see here the amount of grip he actually has is incredible. 7 laps to go, and Lambo here is looking to get unlapped. Or sorry, Blizzard is looking to unlap himself from Lambo. That pressure put on Lambo is not helping him either, and he's really struggling here to keep focused on his racing line. Gap to Darren Sinclair, 1.2. We head towards turns 11 and 12 now, and what can we see then? Blizzard then trying to challenge for what would have been 2nd place. Lambo gets it slightly wrong. That gives an opportunity for Blizzard to have a look, but he doesn't commit to the move and stays behind Lambo. Of course, Blizzard here is a lap down. Blizzard still trying to put Lambo under that bit of pressure, and coming into turn 15. Now 1.4 behind Darren Sinclair, climbs to 1.5. Let's have a look on board with Steph and the Gort here, because the Gort is now only 3/10 back from Steph heading into turn 9. That's not the greatest camera angle in the world. We want to watch the car behind chasing, but the Gort now, we're seeing it clear as day now, heading towards turns 11 and 12. What can he do? Can he make a move coming through to turn 13? We're about to find out. He might be a little too far back from the looks of it. Coming now into turn 13. And rounding those final few corners then. The Gort here has a really good chance of getting past Steph here for 9th place. Got to get that exit right. What does it look like? It looks pretty good to me. Steph doesn't get a great exit. And the Gort then goes side by side with Steph going down the main straight, heading towards turn 1. The Gort then down the inside, has that move, runs slightly wide though, might invite Steph to put a little bit of pressure back onto him, but the Gort will have DRS. They run side by side, heading towards turn 3, and the Gort here, oh, Steph locks up, trying to go around the outside, and the Gort leaves him that little bit of room, but the Gort then gets ahead and stays ahead of Steph there. Gort moves up into P9. Well, have a look at this then. Blizard in once again. Oh, that's someone into the wall there. That is Blizard. Blizard has hit the wall and hit it hard. And who was that? Collected by him. Or, sorry, collecting the debris. I'm trying to see who that was who collected the debris there. Who was that? They hit the wall. Was that Spike who hit the wall there? Who was caught up in that debris? Because he's now 16.4 behind Siege. Well, no, he would have been... Well, no, I have no idea who that car in the background was, but there we go. So, lap 25. 5 laps to go. Well, 4 and a bit now. Darren Sinclair leads the way. Lambo second. Siege is in third. We've got Spike in fourth. Weed Nation fifth. Raikkonen sixth. Squeezy in seventh. Frank in eighth. Steph ninth. The Gort in 10th. As that the Gort moves back behind Steph there. Blaster in 11th. Alan K 12th. Z3 13th. And Maze is in 14th place. The Gort then has got to do this work on Steph all over again. He has those better tyres. They've provided him a little bit more grip as the clouds form over. The track temperature should go down just very slightly, and that does affect the traction these cars get. That does affect the grip, albeit very slightly, but it's noticeable, and that's the difference. Well, here we go then. Squeezy on Raikkonen. 4 laps to go, and Z3 is into the pits. Squeezy then rounding those final few corners. Raikkonen runs wide. Squeezy doesn't need a second invitation, trying to go around the outside, going into turn 15. We'll have the inside line for turn 16, and he's got the move done, and the Gort is out. The Gort's crashed out. The Gort has crashed out of this race, and that is the end of his day. Well, Lambo here is catching Darren Sinclair. 0.6 of a second the gap is. With 4 laps to go, this looks like it could be a great battle for the win here if Lambo can keep up with this pace. Of course, Lambo pitted 2 laps later than Darren Sinclair, so his tyres, Lambo, are going to be fresher. They're not going to be as worn as Darren Sinclair's, and this is when Lambo is choosing his moment here to attack, and it's now. It's all well and good being able to catch the car in front at Albert Park. Overtaking them, though, is a completely different matter. We're rounding that final corner then. Who's got the better exit? Looks like they both get pretty good exits out of that final corner. Heading towards that start-finish line and into turn 1. Lambo can't quite get the move done and stays behind for now. Heading towards turn 2 with 3 laps to go in this one. Darren Sinclair is under threat from Lambo now. But he's just got to try and keep his cool here, keep his composure. Lambo will do everything he can to try and find that way past. We'll have a look for any other battles out on track, but at the moment the field is pretty evenly spread out at the moment. Darren Sinclair, though, still leads the way. Heading towards turn 11, 3/10, or well, it's just under 4/10, I should say. But the gap is coming down as they both now head towards turn 13. Lambo thinking about it, but the way the corner goes there, it's very difficult to go down the inside. As Darren Sinclair still holding on to first place for now, rounding those final few corners. And we're heading onto the start-finish straight now for the penultimate lap of the race. as Darren Sinclair. It's not a great angle, that one. This is a much better angle. Lambo now heading into the DRS zone towards turn 1. Can he make that move stick? No, he can't. Probably setting himself up for turn 3. And look at how close he is now to the back of Darren Sinclair. This could be a move here. Darren Sinclair will defend that inside line and comes back onto the racing line. And look at that now. Lambo trying to go around the outside, going into turn 4, but can't quite make it stick there. And riding on board with him now. And no, he couldn't quite make it stick. 2 laps to go here. Lambo knows it's now or never. The more time goes on and the laps go down, the more this favours Darren Sinclair. Your real last overtaking opportunity in the lap is turn 13, and even then, that's a stretch. Heading now towards 11 and then through 12. Darren Sinclair holding on in there. And we've got to take into account of any penalties that the game decides to award. But Lambo here still on the back of Darren Sinclair as they head around the final few corners on this penultimate lap, heading towards 15 and then coming around turn 16 now. And what are the exits like from the corner? They're pretty similar. And Lambo, of course, will have DRS coming down the straight, coming towards turn 1. Can he find that way past Darren Sinclair? He's going to set himself up here for turn 3. And look at that, he picks up a load of mud and grass as we head onto the final lap of the race. Lambo here knows his time is running out, but he tucks back in and lets Darren Sinclair have turn 3 here. Turn 9 is his next best bet to try and make a move. After that, it's turn 13 or nothing. As we head towards turn 6 now. Lambo's still trying to find that way past, but he can't quite do it. Through turn 8 they go, and towards turn 9. But again, Lambo's not quite close enough to have a go at Darren Sinclair. He's got to get the exit of 10 right and hope that Darren Sinclair doesn't get the greatest exit. Heading now down towards turn 9. Turn 11. I'm getting my corners all mixed up here. But Darren Sinclair still holding on in there. Lambo knows that turn 13 is probably his last possible moment that he could try it, but he tucks back in. It is possible when you're on the exit of turn 16 to lose the back end, but Darren Sinclair ran in the final few corners. Now he moves into turn 15 and then coming around turn 16. The start finish line is a long way down. This still isn't over yet. DRS open from Lambo. Darren Sinclair here weaves and weaves. He wins here in Australia, and all that pressure from Lambo, he couldn't quite do it. He finishes 3 seconds down, so he had that penalty, and Siege there finishes in 3rd place. And Spike is coming around the final few corners now, and he will come towards the line here and take 3rd place in this race. Or 4th place, sorry. Weed Nation here coming across the line. He's going to take 5th place in this race. Fantastic drive from him. Squeezy, very aggressive, but it's worked for him, and he will take P6 in this race. Raikkonen and Frank trying to battle it out to the line. Who will hold on? I think Raikkonen's just about going to hold on, but he did fall behind through penalties. Frank finishes in 7th, Raikkonen 8th. Steph now coming around the final corner, and he's going to come across the line in 9th place here. And Plaster is going to be the final point scorer for today. As he rounds that final corner, he's going to take a point home for Red Bull and a point home for his Drivers' Championship. And Alan Kay is the last car on the lead lap then. He picks himself up a last 3-second time penalty for good measure. He's the last person on the lead lap. But your race winner here today is Darren Sinclair. Well then, Darren Sinclair takes the top step of the podium to take the win here in Australia. So then the official, unofficial results: Darren Sinclair wins the race, Lambo second, Siege in third, Spike fourth, Weed Nation fifth, Squeezy in sixth, Frank Dank in seventh, Raikkonen 8th, Steph in 9th, Blaster 10th, Alan K 11th, Maze in 12th, Z3 13th, and got a whole bunch of people who didn't finish, including Crazy Legs and Blizard, 2 champions of the series. Well, the first round is done. We've only just begun in this exciting season. Our next race, I believe, is China. It's either China or Bahrain, that's for sure, in the next round. So I do hope you can join us for them. In the meantime, though, until China, I've been Kieran McGinley. You've been watching. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.